Using the backup for a long time. You guys are seeing this on Twitch, just not on YouTube yet. Ah, there we go on YouTube now. I think it sees me. Maybe? Hey, there we go. All right, YouTube is now seeing me. So yeah, I had to use the backup server for a long time on OBS for YouTube, but now I'm back to the primary server. So yay. And now it says we're live too. Great. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another week. Hey Viking, how you doing? It has been 2 weeks since the last stream, or 3 now. I think 3, 2, yeah, I don't know, something like that. Anyways, I was traveling week before last, and I got back and was sick, so I ended up not doing any streaming, anything like that, and I've done very little 3D printing, honestly, in the past 2 weeks. Oh, I got a cold. Yeah, I came back with a head cold on the last flight, the last 15-hour flight. Like halfway through, I started getting a sniffle, and then it was a full-blown head cold when I got back here. And yeah, it was just not great at all. I was really not happy with that. But mostly over it now. Just tired still. I'm still trying to get my jet lag sorted out. 7 hours isn't huge, but it's also not great. But all kinds of different jet lag. But obviously, as the older I get, I was also only back in the US for a week. And it's like I got there on Sunday, got used to jet lag on Thursday, flew out on Saturday. So I had my jet lag sorted for like 2 days. Yeah, it was just not great. But I'm back. Doesn't matter anymore. Life moves on. So I didn't do a ton of 3D printing. I did a little bit. And my office is an absolute shambles because I just need to kind of get through things. We are prepping for our move this summer. So first thing is selling 3D printers. First thing we'll talk about here. So I have sold a few. Oh, you had it, then she got it, then gave it back to you. That sucks, dude. Sorry to hear that. But rest up. Sleep always helps. I felt way better. I took Wednesday off and slept till noon. My wife let me sleep. And yeah, I felt way better after that. Getting a good solid 12 hours of sleep felt great. But selling 3D printers, yes. So I've got a couple that are gone now and a couple that will be gone soon. The one thing that I am struggling with is, so I decided that selling Clipper enabled printers to someone is probably not the best idea because Clipper is not really user friendly. At least for a first-time person, first-time 3D printer is really not user-friendly. So I went ahead and took Clipper off of Fastlane. Now Fastlane, for those you don't know, I'll pull it up here because I have it sitting on the floor, is my Mark III's clone that I made a while back. And it prints great with Clipper. But I didn't realize, or maybe I just didn't remember, that the SD card reader doesn't work. And I tried new cables. I tried a new LCD board. None of that worked because I think it's a problem with the board. And I'm not spending another, I wonder how much those boards are, if I get a Chinese one. I want to say they're at least $70. I would be surprised if the Chinese knockoffs were more than, oh, I gotta change my currency here. USD, save. So the Rambo board. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like 50 bucks. And for a printer that I'm selling, I don't really think it's worth $50 to get a new board. I thought I had another NZ board somewhere that was giving me issues that I replaced, but I mean, $56 for a FiSec board, I don't know, it's just not worth it to sell a printer. So I think I might end up putting Clipper back on it. I just don't know. Maybe try to see if the school wants to buy it. But it's just, I think I might just be stuck with it. Because I don't recommend people to. So I wanted to keep this with the FiSec board Viking just because I could throw a different board on it. Like that's not the problem. But all the capabilities that comes with a Prusa ecosystem machine is then lost without that board. So that's the one thing, is that like you lose the Prusa firmware, and the Prusa firmware is some of the best out there for a beginning printer. There are others that have made it really well, like I said, that QD X Smart 3 that I got recently. That thing, very user friendly, but I don't want to get rid of that printer because it prints ABS like a champ, and it's fast, and I really like the quality of the machine, so I'm definitely keeping that one for a personal machine. But I mean, granted, the V0 prints ABS just fine, but it's tiny. Like, it's great for small prototyping or things like that. But having two machines that can print ABS really well is a winner for me. So I just have to decide what I want to do with this printer. It's about $100 for a first party board. We're looking at $50 for a replacement. I just don't know. The only other thing to do is to put the Pi back on. So I still have the Pi with the clipper on it here. It's just a Pi Zero. Is I could put Octoprint on here and do it that way through the Wi-Fi. But you lose that's the other thing, is that like with the Prusa, you have print recovery with their firmware and their board. You don't really get print recovery with many other machines that are not using first-party firmware. And that's one of the biggest benefits of a Prusa, is that print recovery. Clipper, I think there was a script out there I saw a while ago where people were messing with it to start that, but I thought I saw that somewhere, but I could be wrong. But I don't think it's, again, it's not something that I've tried yet. And yes, do I have other boards I could put on this? Absolutely. I could get this to be a working machine. You just lose a ton with it. And also I don't really want to have to make firmware for it. And making firmware is going to take me, a week or two to sit down and figure out a good Marlin 2.0 firmware. Remember how to recompile that crap, because I've left all of that in the past. I haven't used Marlin in a long time, and having to relearn how to recompile all that and go through all the steps again, it just takes a long time. And is it really worth my time? Or is $50 worth my time? I don't know. So I have to debate this for a while. I really need to debate this, whether I'm going to buy a new board or not. Yeah, I have Clipper everything. Literally every machine is, I never Clipperized the Mark III, which the Mark III is also gone. You can see there's no orange printer here anymore. Mark III is gone. Sold that to a guy at work. Still have a couple more that a few people were interested. They're kind of waiting it out to see. I was like, you guys are waiting out. My best printers are selling. So, but the one guy that bought this, I ended up selling him what was it? It was the WeDo Tina 2S, the real little one. Because that thing printed like a champ, just a really small printer. I mean, it's basically the V0, just a mass-produced one. It printed really well. So, hey Jason, Aaron moved me to Clipper and it's the best. I really enjoy Clipper, but I think it's a little bit much for someone who is not. Hey Aaron, how you doing? It's a little bit much for people who are not super techy, that want to just 3D print things. And that's the one thing I've said about Clipper for a very long time, is that Clipper does not make it easy for people to just print. Like, it doesn't. And for the for the future of 3D printing to become more accessible for people, you need to make it easy to print out of the box. And Prusa has done a great job of that. Qt, I think, has done a great job of that. Ultimaker obviously always has. That's why Ultimakers was, you know, up until the Mark III, Ultimakers were the #1 printers ever sold. MakerBots were also very high, especially for the education. They kind of had the monopoly on education because they gave discounts to educators as well. And they were very easy to use machines. And they were kind of like tanks. They didn't require much upkeep. You just plugged it in and you could run to the thing till it died. Were the print quality great? It was fine for kids to like learn how to prototype and learn the technology. It didn't need to be great. But the standard from people has gone up because of printers like the Prusa and other ones that have come out now, the Bamboo as well. So there's just a lot of things going on there. So the one, yeah, school is MakerBots. The school here has a MakerBot where my kids go to school. They have one. So they are putting in their budget to buy some more printers. They're trying to figure out what that's going to look like. They probably will end up going with Bamboos, probably like P1P, P1PS, something like that, just because they're affordable. They're very robust machines. Again, they're not bulletproof like a MakerBot is. What was the other one? Not Dremels. I guess they're all just MakerBots. There's another brand out there that was really big in education for a while. I think Dremel. Dremel was pretty big for a while as well. I think that was like Joel's 3D printing nerd. I think his first printer was a Dremel. One of the dual-headed ones, something like that. I think that's what it was. Remember he talked about that a couple years ago. Kind of how he got into the 3D printing realm of things. But anyways, I gotta figure out what I want to do with this. Whether it's buy a new board, throw what's it called, Octoprint on this Pi and put it back in and go from there. I don't know. So that's one of my big thinking projects that I have to figure out what I want to do with. The past few days, even though I have been a little sick, I did do some 3D printing. So I recently got this little battery powered blower. So one side is a vacuum, excuse me, you take that off, you put a nozzle on here and it's a blower. I got this for Lego because I had, it was called the Hurricane. It was just a little battery powered blower and it was powerful enough for a long time, but it finally died. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna look online, see what I can find. I found a few different ones and this one caught my eye, had really good reviews. So I went ahead and bought it. And so far it's been working really well. It comes for the vacuum, it comes with this single nozzle here with the brushes and that comes off. So it works really well. And again, the blower is super duper powerful. I mean, super powerful. So it works really well for cleaning the Lego City and also just odds and ends, vacuuming my keyboard or blowing out the computers and whatnot because they're all water cooled, so not a lot of air moves in them. So using the blower on it really works with that. But for vacuuming Lego, this is really big and I didn't like, it's just, it has a good suction, but not great because the nozzle was so big. It is 15 mil by 30 mil in size. It tapers down a little bit here, so it's probably 25 mil by 14 or 15 mil for the tip there. It's still pretty big. So I wanted to be able to make it a little more powerful and have a better suction by reducing the size of the hose, the nozzle per se. So I went ahead into Fusion and let me pull it up here. So here we are. And I went ahead and modeled up a new nozzle for it. And it all started with just this. So that is this little test print that I did, which fit first try. I was honestly super stoked about it. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. Like, I'm so proud of myself for making this fit first try. And it's a nice snug fit as well. When it goes in, I use a little bit of pressure in there, it goes in exactly as far as this thing did. So very proud of myself for a first try print. So then I was like, all right, I need to neck this down. So this ended up being the final print. I made it much longer. I mean, you can see compared to my hand. I think I made it like 100 mil. So if I go over to here, I did extrude that up. Well, I did 15 under to undercut that. $120 mil is what I went up. So, and I think that worked out well. And then I just added some chamfers and things here on the side. I chamfered the inside as well, trying to make that as rounded as I could to make sure all the air wasn't just kind of, because if you have any sharp edges in a vacuum, you'll get like a spinning motion in there. So I wanted to make everything kind of as smooth as possible and whatnot. But this seems to work really well. It fits in, and it has a ton more suction compared to what it did before. I might make it a little bit smaller. I made a big one first, but what I'm thinking about doing now is here in the top, because right now anything that flows in will come into the catch. Now it's nice this catch is small, that I can see if I was to vacuum up any pieces of Lego. What I think I might do is find the smallest piece I have, which would be like a 1x1 stud, and make a little grill in here that is that size. I don't know how that will affect the vacuum, how much of that will be affected. I don't know. But I'm debating on putting some type of small lattice at the top of this just to not have it pull any pieces in. But again, it is nice that it has such a small basket on it. There's very little dirt in here as it is because I haven't used it much lately. But I did try it on the City. It did work great. I do wish I had some type of brush to put on the end of it to be able to kind of make it loosen anything up that's kind of really stuck there. So I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. And I thought I probably do somewhere is, for some reason, when I originally bought that tornado thing years ago, it came with an accessory kit, but actually came with 2 accessory kits for some odd reason. I think I have another kit here somewhere that I didn't open, because what I did have, I'm pretty sure I threw away. And that did have a small circular one with bristles on it. So what I was going to try to do is try to find that. I meant to do that before the stream, and I didn't think about it. I had Cub Scouts today with my son. Find out how big that is, and then make this nozzle to fit inside of there. And that would give me those bristles that I really wanted. I bet a single crosshair would do it, make it long. Oh, so I'd have to make it go the whole length of it. Okay, I didn't know if I could just do it at the tip, like just do the top ½ inch of it maybe. I didn't know how that would affect it. I was going to do a couple different tests. Because this took, I guess, about 2 hours to print, just because it goes nice and slow going all the way up, just because of stability, whatnot. I just did it with a brim. I think I did like a 10 wide brim on it. This was printed all on Hound here. So Hound's been kind of my go-to now that my Prussia's gone, which was always my go-to. But Hound is my Gucci Bear. It's a Bear 2.1, I think it is. And then this is Nemesis. This is a 2.0 Bear build. Both work great, but Hound is just my really go-to one now. The longer it is, the stronger it will be. All right, I will look into that, Aaron. And yeah, Jason, I learned Fusion 100% myself. All self-taught. I mean, I say self-taught, but like, did Aaron help me out learn a ton of things in Fusion? Yes, absolutely. Did I learn some from watching different YouTube videos? Yes, absolutely. But like, I was not formally taught Fusion, and I've been doing it now since 2016, so 7 years. I started with it pretty early in my 3D printing career, and I've only gotten better and better. So designing something like this didn't take really that long. The hardest part was figuring out, I guess the hardest part was this, figure out how to go from just this here come here, come here. So getting from here to the end, you know, ended up doing a few different things, made a off plane, and then created this like triangular object here, you know, to kind of bridge that gap, and then extruding that out, deleting some faces, you know, just kind of had to work my way across it, then adding some chamfers to it as well. That was the inside chamfer there. Delete a couple more faces, doing some fillet work out here, you know, and then I just did the top one here. So it's constraints. Yeah, I don't know anything about constraints. I know people create things, constraints for objects, things like that, but I have no idea about any of that. But that would be something to make it better. So my daughter is, so it's another 3D printing thing we'll talk about next year, is so my daughter has a design class, my oldest, so she is in 8th grade, and she has a design class, and they're starting to get into some 3D printing. Again, the design teacher is newer to their school, and he's starting to get them into 3D printing, which is great. I think everybody should learn it, and everybody should definitely learn on CAD design. So I learned CAD, paper and pencil CAD, when I was in school, and then again, once I started 3D printing, I started learning, you know, Fusion, so online CAD, which is super powerful because there's so much you can do with it. So kind of learning, I knew about the 2D of CAD, but learning 3D of CAD took it to another level. The loft, I tried lofting, so I did try that for a while, Jesse, and due to the differences in sizes of the geometry was just too different, and it could not do it. I tried it many, many times, but it just could not do it because of the geometry difference. I was going from a large oval to a small circle. For some reason, it just could not do it. Because I can even show you that here real quick, because that'll be to here. So I tried doing a loft. Where's it at? A loft from this face to this face, and it just errors out. Loft could not be created. Tried changing the input, swapping profiles. So I even tried doing it the other way around. So creating a loft from here to here, and again, it just errors out. Whoops, I didn't show you that. I didn't show you the camera. So here it is, and here's the error down here where it's yelling me that it can't do it. So I did try that. Because a loft, I learned how to create a loft back when I was creating the GoPro mounts for the CR10s a long time ago, because I used to use GoPro for all of my time lapses back in the day before webcams became a real thing to use with firmware and all that. Again, this is long before all of those things. So I used a loft for that, which was really cool to be able to learn how to get that to work. But for some reason, just a loft won't work for this. What did Aaron share here? If you are free. I'll have to look at that later, Aaron. Where am I looking here? Stop it. I lost my place. Here we are. Smaller, too short, and the loft longer. Yeah, loft was really good for fan ducts. Again, I don't know what it is about this geometry that it doesn't like, but I'll try to figure that out. Maybe it's in the video Aaron shared. But either way, I got to what I needed. I got to make the part. It fits well. I'm happy with it. Is there a better way to do it? 9 times out of 10, absolutely. Because I have told many people and learned a lot, is the way that I do it might not be the most economical way or the fastest way to do a lot of these things. But in the end, does it work? Yes, then I call that a win. But yeah, there's definitely things I could turn. You know, it could also round off some of this more. There's so much I could do with it, but whatever works is the right way. That's what Aaron said. Absolutely. Whatever gets you to your finished product and it works as you need it to work, then that is correct, because there are multiple ways to skin a cat. There's multiple ways to edit, to create something in Fusion. And I probably could have started this different ways, but I started from the restrictive part that I needed to fit perfectly, got that, and then did the rest from there. So I made one more, this one here. So I did make it shorter at first. This was only like a 60 mil extrusion up, and I was like, yeah, that's definitely not long enough. And I also made the walls a bit thicker. Here's what you haven't stopped buying. That's my philosophy. That's absolutely right. Could I go online and find nozzles that fit this from a third-party seller on Amazon? Probably could. Can I also make it myself? I can do that. So I'm all for making things myself if I can. Making a vacuum kind of, you know, stretches that, but once I have something, I can make other things to help it fit my need. And again, if I can find that little brush thing, it'll be even better for what I want to do. So that was kind of my big 3D printing project of the last week. And then the other thing I've been working on again. So again, my daughter is doing a design class. They have to design a playground and they're 3D printing it at school. Well, they only have, you know, a few 3D printers, maybe 2, I think, at school. Not that many. So her teacher was like, he's also going to buy a printer from me. He's going to buy the Fugatech Prusa Mini, is the one he's going to buy from me. And he was like, well, your dad has 3D printers. Can you use 3D printers at home to give more time at school? And I was like, sure. Like, I don't care. I've got plenty of filament and whatnot. So she had to design a playground. And I have to say, it's a little bit, it's made in Tinkercad. Okay. So again, this is kind of their first dive into that. So, oh shoot. Let me pull that back up. So this is the finished version of it. These other 2 tabs are broken up. So here is the playground that she designed in Tinkercad. So, you know, it's got like a pole to slide down. It's got swing sets. This is supposed to, you know, symbolize a trampoline. This is a climbing tower. So you start off in these whole pieces, which she forgot to combine these. To group them. And then those holes are in there, so that's a climbing tower. But she did a few things correctly, so she made a few things in doubles. So once she made the bottom platform here, the second platform is the same thing. So that really helped out there. And then she took, these 2 are the same. These 2 parts of the tower are the same. The roof on here and here are both the same. The 2 platforms here they can be the same because it has the 2 poles underneath. So she did do some things that were a little bit easier. And then she was very proud, which I was proud of her little spiral slide here. This was pretty nifty of her to figure out how to do this little spiral slide. We've done some editing on this in the subparts, but she's got her little slide there that comes out. So very interesting on how she problem solved. How do I make a spiral slide? You know, she was trying to find models online. So we went ahead and we broke it down to 2 different plates of items. And I did try to print one of these towers here. And the problem is that the spokes are just too small. They're absolutely tiny. So this is supposed to be every set of grid lines, which I believe is a centimeter, they're scaling up to be a foot. So this would be a 2-foot entrance to get through. It's a little small. It's a very small playground, but that's what the scale is supposed to be. Now, when I look at this, these guys are just absolutely tiny. Where's that? So this is 2 mil by 2 mil, okay? 3D printing that is, in this configuration, difficult. It's very difficult. So what what we need to do is, I also had to help her learn how to align. She didn't understand the align tool in here. So that is this piece right here, align. So she didn't understand how to align various parts to each other. So I taught her how to do that. So we had to like align the spokes in here. We had to align all of the uprights on here. So kind of went through all that to teach her how to do that. And then here's the other part. So most of these parts we printed already. Could you put a flat part on the spoles, print the poles flat? Yes, so that's what I was getting at, Aaron. So we're gonna end up just pulling all those poles off, redesigning it with a flat side. I think it might make them a little bit bigger as well, maybe 3 mil by 3 mil. 2 is pretty small. But I mean, a lot of the things printed well, like here's the slide, fully printed and done. So she has the uprights that are there. And the only thing is her angle on here was off on the end of the slide. So this we just have to glue on, you know, as kind of like the outspout of the slide. We'll glue that on. I got the roofs to finish. These were very difficult to print due to the angle of them. It's a fairly steep angle. So I ended up just putting a ton of support. So I'm having her take all the support off. And so she needs to sit down with me, and we did all the support off a bunch of other stuff, but we have that. And then she made just a straight slide to go down, and she modeled this herself, which this came out really, really great. I ended up having to put some large, brims on these to be able to hold the slide printed on its side. And we used organic support, which came off pretty easily. I mean, you can see this is all organic support under here as well in Prusa Slicer. And then this roof, we were able to align and make that look good and print well, and the underside came out pretty good too. And then one of the climbing towers that she made came out. So you can see kind of the scale of it, you know, once this all goes together. So probably tonight, oh, and I did do a test. So, whoops. This was just the fireman pole coming down from the one, and this printed great just like this. I mean, it just printed great, but it's a little bit bigger than, I should actually look what size it is, because she made it a little bit bigger in comparison. Yeah, that's 3 mil by 3 mil. So I think scaling these up to 3 mil, and then it'll print better like this. The 2 mil, the top of it just came. Do I still have it here? Printed it and then threw it away because it didn't really, it looked pretty bad. It was really good up until up to about 90%, and then that last 10%, they didn't look that great because they were just wiggling too much as they were printing. So I think if we just scale these up to 3 mil, it'll print better. And I might be able to print them in one go as well. So it's a couple different things to try out. I'm talking her through all of this as the design process, iterative design. You know, if it doesn't go well, what can you do to improve your design? How can you make it better? I forgot this piece here too did finish. But this was also a 2 mil part printed on its side with just a big brim on it. So it just needs cleaned up. This is the upright for the swing set. But anyways, she's learning through this, which I'm super happy about. And she wants to learn it. She really likes the design class. So I'm glad that she likes to do that. So that's been really my 3D printing and things over the last few weeks here. Again, just trying to use up the filament I have. I've not bought any new filament in a long time, just trying to use it all up and get it out. And figure out what are we taking with us to the next place. And I've decided a bunch of the printers need to go and need to save some weight on things. So it's time to really get rid of some of them. I'll probably be doing donations to either the makerspace or the school for some things as well that I just don't want anymore. Like I've got a bin full of wire. I haven't wired anything in a while, so there's no reason for me to take a spool of wire. If I need some more, I'll just buy some more. But that is a good 10 pounds of wire that I have that I just really don't need anymore. because mostly I have my one little bin. You guys have seen me pull out the little bin there. It's just stocked full of wire. That is usually more than enough that I need for 3D printers. I have this other wire from whenever I was building other projects and building custom PCs and things like that. I needed wire to make my own custom cable extensions or my own custom modular cables for computers when I was doing that. I'm not really doing that anymore, so why do I still have it? That's kind of my thing on it. You know, things like that. So getting through various things, and we'll continue to work on it. But that's really been my last 2 weeks. I know I was supposed to work on reprinting things for the Valorant Legacy down there, but I never got to that. So this week I'll definitely make it a priority to reprint the parts that kind of failed. And it was all because the V0 is over extruding just a little bit. So I'm going to do a few test prints with the ABS that is loaded in there. I think the ABS is still loaded in there. It's not. I'll have to find what I did with it. But I'll do a couple test prints. One of the ones I found that's really good is the Tippy Tree parts from Make Anything, Devon. Those are a pretty good indicator. If those fit together properly, that means my extrusion is correct. And I know right now the extrusion is not correct. So I'm going to lower it down a little bit, print out 2 of those, or print out 1 of them and fit it against what I have. And then see if that fits and goes there. So what brand of ABS am I using? I am using Ziltech ABS because it's super cheap. And I do get a little bit of a discount through them, so it makes it even cheaper. Oh, you quit the Legacy. Yeah, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I had a little bit of issue putting it together, but when I reprinted some of the parts, they came out really well. Haven't really had much of an issue with it. The hardest thing for me was learning Clicky Probe. Figuring that out, again, the Voron, how to build their printer, most of the instructions are fine. The Legacy also had 0 instructions, so I built it with that. But I find sometimes when they try to provide documentation, it's pretty bad. And the Clicky Probe, I found the documentation pretty bad. So trying to figure out what the different things mean, super difficult for me, super difficult. Eventually I got there, but now I need to kind of relearn it. And I also did break my Clicky Probe, so I need to reprint those parts, rewire that, get the magnets out of the old one to put into there. Partly garbage bearings. Yeah, I can see that. I usually only buy IKOs now. I don't buy any other ones. It depends. So, Myron, which Voron are you debating on building? And Jason, so my V0 was a kit. The Legacy was not a kit. A 2.4. Okay, going for the big boy. Again, I think the building instructions are fine. They were, for the V0, they were fine. I mean, they weren't the best, but Clicky NG. I'll need to look that up, Aaron, because I've never heard of that before. Does that work with the Legacy? Same GitHub, newer version. Clicky NG. Next generation or no glue. Okay, I see that here. I have to reprint it anyway, so I will take a look at this and see how it works. I have it up here, so I will read up on that, and thank you for the suggestion. But yeah, just learning how to configure the firmware to have it go and dock and then not dock with it just was a lot. It was a lot to learn. And because some of the parts I printed were on was it on the Fugatech, they were over extruded a little bit. So getting that to fit well, I had to do a bunch of sanding on both the mount and the probe itself to be able to get it to slide in with like 0 friction. Because straight off the printer, that did not work. and it was getting caught. So I had to sand that down a bit, and then it seemed to be okay. But I'll definitely look into that since I need to reprint it anyways. And I'll hopefully do that this week so that next weekend, well, it's next weekend. I don't know if I'll be streaming next weekend. It really depends on what happens. We have friends coming in next Saturday. They're here for 2 weeks. So we're going to be driving around the country for most of those 2 weeks. So I might not, but I will do my best to get that. So the next time I live stream, we'll be working on the printer. And I also think I think I'm getting better at printing. So again, now that I've got the V0 kind of tuned almost perfectly, but I also have, I really want to print these parts on the V0 so I can really finish dialing that printer in. It's mostly dialed in, I will say that, mostly, but now with the new extruder, things like that, I have to tweak a little bit more, but it's almost there. I do have the QD X Smart, so I can use that as well. It's pretty doggone good. Excuse me. It's fast. I really like printing ABS on that machine. I really do. Like, it is, that's where the ABS is on that machine right now. But I really want to push myself to get the V0 really dialed in, and then I can say, yes, that's good, and I can then use it as a daily printer. I have not put it back here on my desk because I just had other things, other projects going on and whatnot. So I just need to sit down with that machine for an evening, do a couple different test prints, and finish dialing it in. And that'll be a very near project to work on. I'll be working on that very soon. The price on them, Aaron, is not bad. I really wish they would send me some more of them. They have a couple different ones. I might try to reach out to them and say, hey, would you mind sending me one of the other ones? But for when I move, I don't want to do any more here at all. I'm not accepting any more printers or anything. I mean, I would say probably 90% of the companies ghost me after they email me anyways, but regardless, I want to try to reach out to them again and see if, oh, I do have a project to do that. I need to install the camera. So that's another, Sunday night stream to do, is to install the camera on that. They're getting there. I mean, I remember they were kind of like, they were, I'd say ripping off, but they were rebranding Dremels way back when, 5-6 years ago. Any QD printer you saw was basically a Dremel. And they were fine, like they worked, but I kind of had them in the same slot as like a G-Tech, which was my first printer, was a G-Tech aluminum i3. Rough first printer, but I feel like if I made it through that, I can make it through any printer. And then G-Tech started to clone the Ender, which everybody did. I mean, everyone's guilty of that pretty much, especially all the Chinese companies. But G-Tech kind of petered out. They had a couple of their Deltas, and they had the A20s and A30s of basically just different sizes of an Ender 3, and that was it. Crowdy's kind of petered out. They had a couple different ones come out. You saw, the Ender 4, Ender 5, whatever the one that I had that, I don't remember what I did with that one. I think I gave that away to the makerspace. I don't remember what happened to it. I don't have it anymore, regardless. But they've been really miss. And then the K1, I think is the new one that they've launched, has been pretty rough reviews that I've seen so far. So Crowdy's kind of in a world of hurt. They were the big dog for 3 years, I guess, when the Ender 3 came out, and now it seems to be Bamboo is kind of the new leading of that. And we'll have to see. I mean, they did issue the recall of all of the one printer we talked about a couple weeks ago. They recalled, was it the AS or A2, whatever it was that they had. G-Tech made a big blunder a year or two ago. I haven't talked, I mean, I've never, G-Tech, they sent me one printer again 4 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe. So it's not like I have been in touch with them at all. I wanted to try some of their mixing ones. So some of their they had a Delta that looked really cool, and also on their Ender clones, the A clones, they had a bunch of multicolored it was multi extruder single nozzle printers. They use splitters, and again, they used like 3 different motors to do it. I really wanted to try those out, but they never took me up on it. I thought it'd be really cool to try out one of those, either in the i3 style or in the Delta style. Either or would have been fine to try, but they never took me up on it. So, you know, so much for those. But I thought that'd been kind of cool because you do the purge, you know, and it's basically the, you know, without an MU. You know, I think it would be really nice to get a Bamboo with their AMS system. That seems to be I don't know if it's the best, because now that the XL is out, the Prusa XL with the 5 extruders, if you're doing up to 5 color, I think the XL is great because you can also use different materials and all of that. But for just purely multicolor, it seems that Bamboo has stolen that entire market share with the AMS system. And the fact that you can join up to 4 AMSs on a single printer to do 12 colors, nobody can beat that. And the XL, ain't nobody got money for that, because that thing is expensive. Now, I think if you bought the core one and then in 6 months you bought another extruder and 6 months later bought an extruder, like, I think you probably could justify that then if you had the money for it. But buying the 5 color straight off the bat is a huge pill to swallow. I mean, huge. P1S with an AMS, yes, that seems to be the way to go, because you can do 4 color printing for less than $1,000, or right around 1,000, right? Isn't it like 900 for that? So the what am I looking for? I think, isn't the combo like 1,000? I'm gonna look at the store real quick. I think the printer is like 700. Oh yeah, it's 950. So here it is right here. So 950 for that. So this is what I'm at right now, is that, like, I'm selling printers, you know, and I sold the laser. I sold 3 printers so far. You know, I'm trying to debate on what I want to get. Like, I really would like a Mark IV. It's just the Mark III worked so freaking well. Always a beautiful print. Never had an issue with the machine. I mean, obviously had some mechanical issues, you know, or electronic issues over the years, but warranty and support from Prusa is unparalleled in my opinion. So it's really just the debate now is, do I buy a Mark IV or do I buy a P1S for doing multicolor? And doing multicolor really seems the way to go. So I'm going to think about it. I have until like August to really think about it, have time to sell things off. And if I get enough between what I've all sold plus whatever money I have from that I've been accumulating from like Patreon, things like, I mean, Patreon's giving me like what, $16 a month right now. Like, it's a little something, but it all just kind of goes into the pot that's waiting right now. Because $16 is not much to buy anything. AliExpress, Amazon, finally, people have been using the Amazon links more often now. So I got like $80 last month from Amazon, which is great. I haven't had anything in a long time from them. So it really just ebbs and flows on when people use the links that I could afford something like this. Because do I need it? 100% no, obviously. But as a content creator, would I like to have one to create content? Yes, I would. But I think a single AMS is going to be a gateway to 2 AMSs. If you guys have not watched lately, if you go onto Instagram and shoot, who is it? Is it Pio Poly? Shoot, who is it? I gotta find out who it is now. I thought it was a PO Poly account, but they are printing every day a new Pokemon. So they're calling it Print Them All, and they're using a bamboo multicolor, and it really makes me want to print all the Pokemon. Of course, I have no space for any of that. But I'm trying to see if I can find the account, and of course I can't now. They just did a post today because it was who? There was the creator of Dragon Ball just passed away, Dragon Ball Z. So I thought they were gonna print something, but they didn't. I can't find out. Anyways, I think it's PO Poly, because they have so many different colors and whatnot. It's just great, but they are printing a new Pokemon every day, which is very cool. I like it. And it really makes you want to print multicolor again. But I just, with the Ziltech PLA and with how much the humidity is here and whatnot, it is just hard to get it to work with the palette. I can print PTG for days with a palette, no problem. But PLA, with my issues of keeping the filament dry so that it doesn't break while it's in there, is just tough. And I have the which I need to finish the video on that. I have the 2-bay filament dryer, but I have to buy another one of those in order to get it to print well with that, and I just don't want to do that. Ryan, man, how old are you? Like, I know you're just trying to get me riled up, but you know, hey. When is it, Aaron? And where is it? Still trying to scroll down to find that doggone thing. April 20th. No, I will not be going. Not unless somebody wants to pay for me to go. But I don't actually go back to the States until June, when I'm done here. Because it's moving year, yay! No, I mean, if you know of something that's going to be on the East Coast in June or July, I can try. There was another startup of a multicolor thing that they wanted to send something to me, and the conversation stopped there. It would be cool to go. I've not been to any Rep Rap Festival since the first year of Earth, which was in what was that? What year was that? Was that 19 or 18? So I won't be going. But anyways, I think that's going to be it for tonight. Again, got to get some printing done here. Need to get the office cleaned up. So hopefully I will have some time this week. And then I will plan to stream next weekend. Let's see what things are like with the friends in town and what our plans are if we're here. I know we kick off that next Monday for a long trip. Well, Ryan, you're 56 minutes late. Sorry, bud. You got to be on time next time. And yeah, so we'll end up seeing what the next few weeks looks like. I'll try to post in the Discord with what's going on. Sorry I've not been active in the Discord. Again, just not doing a whole lot of much lately. Trying to get better, trying to get my sleep back, all that jazz. But yeah, so I'll see you guys in the Discord, or I'll see you in the next few weeks here on live streams. So until then, happy printing. I'll see y'all next time.